It's that time again, dreamers. Nihil's hit his endgame. Dozens are getting glassed now, system-wide, and he's just warming up. Easy to trace a signal that strong. This is where Nihil glassed thousands, maybe millions. Back in the day, this place would have been stacked with pretty glass bottles. Cephalon oubliettes, tiny little hells, each built for one. He's hiding out. We gotta find out where and fast. So many souls were glassed here. These shackles, logged and numbered. This place is important to him. So important, I'm starting to think he never left it.
But you're a barbarous surgeon. These are issues of degree. Sometimes all that was needed was a little off the top. But it's the beheadings people remember. A society fails without both haircuts and hangings. Naughty Nora doesn't understand that.
These were all people once, dreamer. Reduced to examples. To keep the rest in line. Just like Nihil is set on doing now. Orcan laws. Legum. They had hundreds of these books. Easy to put a foot wrong when your masters change the rules as they please. Judging from their condition, I'd say when the Empire's end came, it was fast and violent. Someone saved these few. And they're all about glassing.
They were deranged children, run amok. Centuries of progress destroyed. But they never destroyed me, never caught me. And our end only proved our correctness. That our laws had been just too late. But it's never too late, is it, Nora?
Justice never lived inside these walls, only oppression. After all this time, from whatever hell he wound up in, the glassmaker still wants to keep a heavy boot planted on every face.
Oh, please, the mob murdered the Empire. Since then, the Origin system has known nothing but conflict, chaos, and collapse. The human capacity for delusion truly is without limit. You ask why I exist? I give you this little mouthpiece for the collapse of civilization.
This would be how Cutter got Nihil's attention. Woke him, maybe. Either way, he got a lot more than he bargained for when he connected to this abandoned part of the weave. We all did. The body. It's Orcan. Wait. No. He wouldn't. Would he?
Took you long enough. The law is the heaviest of stones. A saving anchor for the righteous. A killing weight for the unjust. Prepare, for it now descends upon you. Nora with her little shoulder to the door, thinking to keep me out. Her defenses won't last long, while you, on the other hand, have no defenses at all.
Arc screen is down. Feedback loop's broken. Dreamer! He's here. He's right on the top of me, coming through the...
I am with Nora now, Tell. She's afraid, but not for long. I shall make her an image more appropriate to her future function.
Dreamer. He's stealing me from myself. But I'm not alone.
Shh. There. Silence. I had the strength to turn my instrument of judgment upon myself, to escape hordes of ravenous, idiot little specks like you. I have more than enough strength to shut you up. When the barbarians are at the gate, the truly noble may choose to find an honorable way out. And so the crew of Lawless find they have arrived too late. And thus the weave of history may disguise a cunning victory as a defeat. I am Nihil, Glassmaker. Order shall be restored.
We're all here. Crawl, Bakvandu, Shig, every last glass soul. Find them, Dreamer, before we all join them.
Found someone, have you, Nora? Do you even know what you're looking for? The Ark designed them to be perfect. This one's very existence spits in the face of perfection. And you will release them? Motion denied. A deviant who has an affront to generations of martial greatness deserves no better than an eternity in the prison to which I haven't signed him. Of all the prisoners to free, you chose the doll-hugging pacifist? This is too much!
Big words from someone who cracked his toga and hid in the weeds when the Tenno kicked in his door.
This won't be free. A violation of the social contract to which he was born. He deserves this. Leave him. He should roll in that for eternity. Lifetime of Dogma and Creed were not enough to prevent his deviation from the norms of his...
An old friend wants to say hi.
Damn you! Oh, that bond. You shall sing for me again!
Lot of info in here, Glassmaker. Legum 6-243. No capital sentence shall be passed without unanimous consent of the settled, on pain of, oh, look at that, forfeiture of all tools of office, banishment. Huh, you're a criminal.
You hurt me.
Glassing yourself, but you escaped once. Nowhere to run now. No clever way out. Time to live or die by those vaunted convictions, Glassmaker.
So, Naimo fancies herself a revolutionary Aryan scholar. Well, I, the Vision here. He will never again see the flames from the height of his brother's scaffold. I have been short. Shit! You were stunned when you retracted. You were stunned when you screamed. And you are stunned now!
Shut up, man. We're busy.
Hey! For you! Forever! For you! For this, I shall create such hell!
We ready?
Wait.
Get him. Now sing, you bastard. Here he is, the terror of the Orokin, bottled up like a rich lady's bathwater, or two-credit hooch. Do what you want with him. Prop a door open, bury him 20 feet deep. Either way, he's yours. It's up to you to make sure he never gets loose again. Hell of a day, dreamer. Hell of a day.
You? I glass so many in my time. Surely you'd like to know where they are. Let me out. Let me out, and I'll show you. Small minds die in cells. Great minds do their finest work. I had generations to plan my return. Do you think, for one moment, that I had not allowed for this eventuality? Look at you, strutting, righteous. We'll exchange places soon enough. You made a mistake placing me in here. Whole and entire. I had generations to plan my return. Do you think, for one moment, that I am not allowed for this eventuality? Small minds die in cells. Great minds do their finest work.
In the dying days of the Orichin, with forums and promenades still blood-wet from Tenno betrayal, a colossal sentient descended upon ancient Ur, falling from distant stars to deliver upon Orichin a terrible and final ruin. Tower upon tower fell to its weapons, but one withstood, the Tower of the Unum. The Tenno scattered, but one remained, Gara. She and the Unum, inseparable. The Unum, lodestone of our people, and subject of 100 stories herself. The sentient was a deformed creature, twisted and massive, sent from some dark fold of distant space. A warped thing wounded by daylight. By night it was a terror, felling tower after tower, citadel after citadel. But by day it hid, blinded and pained. It was during the day that Gara roamed, yearning to strike it from creation while it cowered, weakened and blind, to safeguard her beloved Unum. But never could Gara find it. By night, the sentient was abroad, its titanic mass casting a terrible shadow across the land, the mass of it railing against the walls of the tower, yet kept at bay by the exertion of the Unum's colossal will and the sacrifice of our faithful. But such exertions could not be maintained forever. Gush and tear at the monstrosity that threatened her love, but the Unum forbade it. At night, the sentient was at the height of its power, and Gara's light would make her the most tempting of targets to a creature of such profound darkness. Gara's death would be certain. No, a different strategy was required. The sentient prowled and pressed and failed, never risking too much, for the sentient could not reproduce. What it lost forever. It had killed many cities before, felled many towers, but this little one prevailed. Why, it pondered in many voices, was that? The Unum knew she could not defend forever, nor could her faithful throw their bodies against the sentient in perpetuity. So she gave her followers some of her blood, her refined temple kuva, and they in turn gave it to the animals of the land. And the animals became an extension of her, and she became an extension of them. And the animals roamed and searched, and they found where the sentient chose to hide itself. The sentient sensed this subterfuge, and capturing one of the Unum's animals, opened it up for examination. And what little of the Unum that was present there lit the sentient's mind like the dark star from which it had fallen. The sentient, you see, could not procreate, but in the temple kuva, it tasted healing, completeness, a future. It devoured each and every last Unum animal, but it was not enough. The sentient turned its hundreds of eyes toward the tower with new understanding. It would not destroy the tower. It would become the tower. It would kill the Unum, take her place, and one with that healing palace give birth to a race of itself. Gara and Unum knew where the sentient was. The sentient knew the tower was the future of its race. The sentient threw itself at the tower, no longer cautious, taking great losses and knowing the prize was worthy of it. Should it succeed, all losses would be replaced 1,000-fold. This is when, across the plains, the great pylons ignited for the first time. Sheets of energy sprung up between them, powered by the will of the Unum at their epicenter, trapping the monstrosity within. Loyal Gara, unwilling to heed inaction any longer, broke from the side of the Unum and flew out at night, her eyes on the sentient mind. The sentient, torn between its most coveted prize and the mortal threat, broke from the tower and turned back on itself to defend itself from noble Gara. But Gara's eyes were not for the sentient, but for the glittering man-sized device resting just beyond the gates. It had not been there before, but it was there now. It swatted Gara from the sky, drew it to herself, meaning to end her life there and then. The battle was terrible. Gara sustained injuries she would not survive. But in her final moments, brave Gara seized upon the device her beloved Unum had crafted, seized it to her breast, and allowed the sentient to draw her in one final time. Toward its body, toward its core, toward the seat of its intelligence. From within, the sentient unfurled myriad feelers, probes, tendrils, viciously toothed and made for killing. They swept toward Gara violently, and the glass warrior made no defense. Her defense was her final attack. The device detonated, and the Unum cried out as night lit as day. The battle, the terror, was ended. The tower wall shook. The sentient's body shuddered, racked by a cacophonous energy. Forests fell as piece after piece, giant body after giant body, crashed to the plains and marshes and flatlands. Animals fled in spreading waves from pounding sky-high walls of death of a god. The last of Gara's energy arced from body to body, machine to machine, piece to piece, a horizon-wide applause of light, beautiful and terrible. And then, Silence. All was still. The Onum's adherents wandered through the haze, calling for one another, lost in a miasma. Husbands seizing onto wives, children onto parents. It was over. Gara was never seen again. The sentients then became as they are now, senseless, wandering, yearning for a unity they sense more than they remember. And the Onum? The Onum survived, alone, for centuries. Until today, when you stand here reading this. This is Onko, Sita's archivist, with my translation of the Gara legend.